Chapter 5, Morphology of Flowering Plants. The wide range in the structure of higher plants will never fail to fascinate us. Even though the angiosperms show such a large diversity in external structure or morphology, they are all characterized by presence of roots, stems, leaves, flowers, and fruits. In chapter 2 and 3, we talked about classification of plants based on morphological and other characteristics. For any successful attempt at classification and at understanding any higher plant, or for that matter any living organism, we need to know standard technical terms and standard definitions. We also need to know about the possible variations in different parts found as adaptations of the plants to their environment. Example: adaptation to various habitats for protection, climbing, storage, etc. If you pull out any weed, you will see that all of them have roots, stems, and leaves. They may be bearing flowers and fruits. The underground part of the flowering plant is the root system, while the portion above the ground forms the shoot system. Figure 5.1. 5.1. The root. In majority of dicotyledonous plant, the direct elongation of the radicle leads to the formation of primary root which grows inside the soil. It bears lateral roots of several orders that are referred to as secondary, tertiary, etc. roots. The primary roots and its branches constitute the taproot system as seen in mustard plant. Figure 5.2a. In monocotyledonous plant, the primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots. These roots originate from the base of the stem and constitute the fibrous root system as seen in wheat plant. Figure 5.2b. In some plants like grasses, monstera, and the banyan tree, roots arise from the base of a plant other than radicle and are called adventitious roots. Figure 5.2c. The main function of the root system is our absorption of water and minerals from the soil, providing a proper anchorage to the plant parts, storing reserve food material, and synthesis of plant growth regulators. 5.1.1 Regions of the roots. The root is covered at the apex by a thimble-like structure called the root cap. Figure 5.3. It protects the tender apex of the root as it makes its way through the soil. A few millimeters above the root cap is the region of meristematic activity. The cells of this region are very small, thin-walled, and with dense protoplasm. They divide repeatedly. The cell proximal to this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement and are responsible for the growth of the root in length. This region is called root region of elongation. The cells of the elongation zone gradually differentiate and mature. Hence, this zone proximal to region of elongation is called the region of maturation. From this region, some of the epidermal cells form very fine and delicate thread-like structures called root hairs. These root hairs absorb water and mineral from the soil. 5.1.2 Modifications of roots. Roots in some plants change their shape and structure and become modified to perform functions other than absorption and conduction of water and minerals. They are modified for support, storage of food and respiration. Figure 5.4 and 5.5. Tap roots of carrot, turnip and adventitious roots of sweet potato get swollen and store food. Can you give some more such examples? Have you ever wondered what those hanging structures that support a banyan tree are? These are called prop roots. Similarly, the stems of maize and sugarcane have supporting roots coming out of the lower node of the stem. These roots are called stilt root. In some plants such as Rhizophora growing in swampy areas, many roots come out of the ground and grow vertically upward. Such roots, called pneumatophores, help to get oxygen for respiration. Figure 5.5b. 5.2 The stem. What are the features that distinguish a stem from a root? The stem is the ascending part of the axis bearing branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. It develops from the plumule of the embryo of the germinating seed. The stem bears nodes and internodes. The region of the stem where leaves are born are called nodes, while internodes are the portion between two nodes. The stem bear bud which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is generally green when young and later often become woody and dark brown. The main function of the stem is spreading out branches bearing leaves, flowers, and fruits. It conducts water, mineral, and photosynthesis. Some stems perform the function of storage of food, support, protection, and of vegetative propagation. 5.2.1 Modification of stems. The stem may not always be typically what they are expected to be. They are modified to perform different functions. Figure 5.6. Underground stem of potato, ginger, turmeric, zamika, and colocasia are modified to store food in them. They also act as organ of perennation to tide over the conditions unfavorable for growth. Stem tendrils which develop from the axillary bud are cylinder and spirally coiled and help plant to climb, such as in gourds, cucumber, pumpkin, watermelon, and grapevines. Axillary bud of stem may also get modified into woody, straight, and pointed thorns. Thorns are found in many plants such as citrus and bougainvillea. They protect plants from browsing animals. Some plants of arid region modifies their stems into flattened opuntia or fleshy cylindrical euphorbia structures. They contain chlorophyll and carry out photosynthesis. Underground stems of some plants such as grass and strawberry etc. spread to new niches, and when older parts die, new plants are formed. In plants like mint and jasmine, a slender lateral branch arises from the base of the main axis and after growing aerially for some time, arc downward to touch the ground. A lateral branch with short internodes and each node bearing a rosette of leaf and a tuft of root is found in aquatic plants like Pistia and Ecornia. In banana, pineapple, and chrysanthemum, the lateral branches originate from the basal and underground portion of the main stem, grow horizontally beneath the soil, and then come out obliquely upward, giving rise to leafy shoots. 5.3 The leaf. The leaf is the lateral, generally flattened structure borne on a stem. It develops at the node and bear a bud in its axil. The axillary bud later develops into a branch. Leaves originate from shoot apical meristem and are arranged in an acropetal order. They are the most important vegetative organ for photosynthesis. A typical leaf consists of three main parts: leaf, base, petiole, and lamina. Figure 5.7a. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base and may bear two lateral, small, leaf-like structure called stipule. In monocotyledons, the leaf base expands into a sheath covering the stem partially or wholly. In some leguminous plants, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called the pulvinus. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Long, thin, flexible petiole allow leaf blade to flutter in wind, thereby cooling the leaf and bringing fresh air to leaf surface. The lamina or the leaf blade is the green expanded part of the leaf with veins and veinlets. There is usually a middle prominent vein which is known as the midrib. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade and act as a channel of transport for water, mineral, and food materials. The shape, margin, apex, surface, and extent of incision of lamina varies in different leaves. 5.3.1 Venation. The arrangement of veins and the veinlets in the lamina of the leaf is termed as venation. When the veinlets form a network, the venation is termed as reticulate. Figure 5.7b. When the veins run parallel to each other within the lamina, the venation is termed as parallel. Figure 5.7c. Leaves of dicotyledonous plant generally possess reticulate venation, while parallel venation is the characteristic of most monocotyledons. 5.3.2 Types of leaves. A leaf is said to be simple when its lamina is entire or when incised the incision do not touch the midrib. When the incision of the lamina reach up to the midrib, breaking it into number of leaflets, the leaf is called compound. A bud is present in the axil of the petiole in both simple and compound leaf but not in the axil of a leaflet of a compound leaf. The compound leaf may be of two types. Figure 5.8. In a pinnately compound leaf, a number of leaflets are present on a common axis. The rachis, which represent the midrib of the leaf as in neem. In palmately compound leaf, the leaflets are attached at the common point, that is at the tip of the petiole, as in silk cotton. 5.3.3 Phyllotaxy. Phyllotaxy is the pattern of arrangement of leaves on the stem or branch. This is usually of three types: alternate, opposite, and whorled. Figure 5.9. In alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises at each node in alternate manner, as in China rose, mustard, and sunflower. In opposite type, a pair of leaves arise at each node and lie opposite to each other, as in Calotropis and guava plants. If more than two leaves arise at the node and form a whorl, it is called whorled, as in Alstonia. 5.3.4 Modifications of the leaves. Leaves are often modified to perform function other than photosynthesis. They are converted into tendrils for climbing, as in pea, or spines for defense, as in cacti. Figure 5.10ab. The fleshy leaves of onion and garlic store food. Figure 5.10c. In some plants such as Australian acacia, the leaves are small and short-lived. The petiole in these plants expand, become green, and synthesize food. Leaves of certain insectivorous plants such as pitcher plant, Venus flytrap are also modified leaves. 5.4 The inflorescence. A flower is a modified shoot wherein the shoot apical meristem changes into floral meristem. Internode do not elongate and the axis get condensed. The apex produces different kind of floral appendages laterally at successive node instead of leaves. When a shoot tip transforms into a flower, it is always solitary. The arrangement of flower on the floral axis is termed as inflorescence. Depending on whether the apex get developed into flower or continue to grow, two major types of inflorescence are defined: racemose and cymose. In racemose type of inflorescence, the main axis continue to grow. The flowers are borne laterally in an acropetal succession. Figure 5.11. In cymose type of inflorescence, the main axis terminate in the flower, hence is limited in growth. The flowers are borne in a basipetal order. Figure 5.12. 5.5 The flower. The flower is a reproductive unit in the angiosperm. It is meant for sexual reproduction. A typical flower has four different kinds of whorls arranged successively on the swollen end of the stalk or pedicel, called thalamus or receptacle. These are calyx, corolla, androecium, and gynoecium. Calyx and corolla are the accessory organs, while androecium and gynoecium are the reproductive organs. In some flower like lily, the calyx and corolla are not distinct and are termed as perianth. When a flower has both androecium and gynoecium, it is bisexual. A flower has either only one stamen or only carpels. A flower having either only stamens or only carpels is unisexual. In symmetry, the flower may be actinomorphic radial symmetry or zygomorphic bilateral symmetry. When a flower can be divided into two equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center is said to be actinomorphic. Example: mustard, datura, chili. When it can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, it is zygomorphic. Example: pea, gulmohar, bean, cassia. A flower is asymmetric, irregular, if it cannot be divided into two similar halves by any vertical plane passing through the center, as in canna. A flower may be trimerous, tetramerous, or pentamerous when the floral appendages are multiple of 3, 4, 5 respectively. Flowers with bracts reduced leaf found at the base of the pedicel are called bracteate, and those without bracts ebracteate. Based on the position of calyx, corolla, and androecium in respect to the ovary on thalamus, the flower is described as hypogynous, perigynous, and epigynous. Figure 5.13. In the hypogynous type of In the hypogynous flower, the gynoecium occupy the highest position while the other parts are situated below it. The ovary in such flower is said to be superior. Example: mustard, China rose, and brinjal. If gymnosperm is if gynoecium is situated in the center and other parts of the flower are located on the rim of the thalamus almost at the same level, it is called perigynous. The ovary here is said to be half inferior. Example: plum, peach, rose. In epigynous flower, the margin of the thalamus grow upward, enclosing the ovary completely and get fused with it. The other part of flower arise above the ovary. Hence the ovary is said to be inferior, as in the flower of guava and cucumber and the ray florets of sunflower. 5.5.1 Parts of a flower. Each flower normally has 4 floral whorls via calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Figure 5.14. 5.5.1.1 Calyx. The calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower and the members are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamosepalous, sepals united, or polysepalous, sepals free. 5.5.1.2 Corolla. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may also be gamopetalous, petal united, or polypetalous, petal free. The shape and color of corolla vary greatly in plants. Corolla may be tubular, bell shaped, funnel shaped, or wheel shaped. Aestivation. The mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to the other member of the same whorl is called aestivation. The main type of aestivation are velvet, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. Figure 5.15. When sepals or petals in the floral just touch one another at the margin without overlapping, as in Calotropis, it is said to be valvate. If one margin of the appendages overlap that of the next one, and so on, as in China rose, ladyfinger, and cotton, it is called twisted. If the margin of the sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the aestivation is called imbricate. In pea and beans flower, there are 5 petals. The largest standard overlap the 2 lateral petal wings, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest anterior petal keel. This type of aestivation is known as vexillary or papilionaceous. 5.5.1.3 Androecium. Androecium is composed of stamens. Each stamen, which represent the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers, the pollen sac. The pollen grains are produced in pollen sac. A sterile stamen is called staminode. Stamens of flower may be united with other members such as petals or among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petals, they are epipetalous as in brinjal, or epiphyllous when attached to the perianth as in the flower of lily. The stamens in the flower may either remain free, polyandrous, or may be united in varying degrees. The stamens may be united into one bunch or one bundle monoadelphous as in China rose, or two bundles diadelphous as in pea, or into more than two bundles polyadelphous as in citrus. There may be a variation in the length of filament within a flower as in salvia and mustard. 5.5.1.4 Gynoecium. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of a flower and is made up of one or more carpels. A carpel consists of 3 parts, namely stigma, style, and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube, the style. The style connects the ovary on the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is receptive surface for pollen grains. Each ovary bear one or more ovules attached to the flattened cushion-like placenta. When more than one carpel is present, they may be free, as in lotus and rose, and are called apocarpus. They are termed syncarpus when the carpels are fused, as in mustard and tomato. After fertilization, the ovule develop into seed and the ovary mature into fruit. Placentation. The arrangement of ovule within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types, namely marginal, axial, parietal, basal, central and free central. Figure 5.16. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral suture of the ovary and the ovules are borne on this ridge, forming two rows as in P. When the placenta is axial and the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axial, as in China rose, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovule develops on the inner wall of the ovary or on peripheral part. Ovary is one chambered but it becomes two chambered due to the formation of false septum, example mustard and argemone. When the ovules are borne on central axis and septa are absent, as in dianthus and prime rose, the placentation is called free central. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of the ovary and the single ovule is attached to it, as in sunflower and marigold. 5.6. The fruit. The fruit is a characteristic feature of the flowering plant. It is a mature or ripened ovary developed after fertilization. If a fruit is formed without fertilization of the ovary, it is called a parthenocarpic fruit. Generally, the fruit consists of a wall or pericarp and seeds. The pericarp may be dry or fleshy. When pericarp is thick and fleshy, it is differentiated into outer epicarp and middle mesocarp and the inner endocarp. In mango and coconut, the fruit is known as drupe. Figure 5.17. They develop from monocarpellary superior ovaries and are one-seeded. In mango, the pericarp is well differentiated into an outer thin epicarp, a middle fleshy edible mesocarp, and an inner stony hard endocarp. In coconut, which is also a drupe, the mesocarp is fibrous. 5.7. The seeds. The ovules after fertilization develops into seed. A seed is made up of seed coat and an embryo. The embryo is made up of radicle and embryonal axis and one, as in wheat, maize, or two cotyledons, as in gram and pea. 5.7.1. Structure of dicotyledonous seed. The outermost covering of the seed is the seed coat. The seed coat has two layers, the outer testa and the inner tegumen. The hilum is a scar on the seed coat the developing seed were attached to the fruit, through which the developing seed were attached to the fruit. Above the hilum is a small pore called the micropyle. Within the seed coat is the embryo, consisting of an embryonal axis and two cotyledons. The cotyledons are often fleshy and full of reserve food materials. After the at the end at the two ends of the embryonal axis are present the radicle and the pinnule. Figure 5.18. In some seeds such as castor, the endosperm formed as a result of double fertilization is the food storing tissue and is called endospermic seed. In plants such as bee, gram, pea, the endosperm is not present in mature seed and such seeds are called non-endospermous. 5.7.2. Structure of monocotyledonous seed. Generally, monocotyledonous seed are endospermic, but some, as in orchids, are non-endospermic. In the seeds of cereals such as maize, the seed coat is membranous and generally fused with the fruit wall. The endosperm is bulky and store food. The outer covering of endosperm separates the embryo by a proteinaceous layer called aleurone layer. The embryo is small and situated in a groove at one end of the endosperm. It consists of one large and shield-shaped cotyledon known as scutellum and a short axis with a pinnule and a radicle. The pinnule and a radicle are enclosed in sheaths which are called coluptile and coleorhiza respectively. Figure 5.19. 5.8 Semi-technical description of a typical flowering plant. Various morphological features are used to describe a flowering plant. The description has to be brief, in a simple and scientific manner and presented in proper sequence. The plant is described beginning with its habitat, vegetative characters, root, stems, and leaves, and then floral characters, inflorescence, and the flower parts. After describing various parts of flower, a floral diagram and a floral formula are presented. The floral formula is represented by some symbols. In the floral formula, BR stands for bracteate, K stands for calyx, C for corolla, P for perianth, A for androecium, G for gynoecium, G dash at the below for superior ovary and G dash for at the above for inferior ovary. This symbol for male and this for female. This for bisexual, this for actinomorphic and this for zygomorphic nature of flower. Fusion is indicated by enclosing the figure within bracket and addition by a line drawn above the symbol of the floral parts. A floral diagram provides information about the number of the part of a flower, their arrangement and the relation they have with one another. Figure 5.20. The position of the mother axis with respect to the flower is represented by a dot or on the top of the floral diagram. Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium are drawn in successive whorl, calyx being the outermost and gynoecium being in the center. Floral formula also show cohesion and adhesion within the parts of of the whorl and between whorls. The floral diagram and floral formula in figure 5.20 represents the mustard plant family Brassicaceae. 5.9 Description of some important families. 5.9.1 Fabiaceae. This family was earlier called Papilionaidae, a subfamily of family Leguminosae. It is distributed all over the world. Figure 5.21. Vegetative characters: trees, shrubs, herbs, root with root nodules, stem erect or climbers, leaves alternate, pinnately compound or simple, leaf base pulvinate, stipulate, venation, reticulate. Floral characters: inflorescence, racemose, flower, bisexual, zygomorphic, calyx, sepals 5, gamosepalous, valvate, imbricate, aestivation. Corolla, petal 5, polypetalous, papilionaceous, consisting of posterior standard, two lateral wings, two anterior, one forming a keel, enclosing stamens and pistil. Maxillary aestivation. Androecium 10, diadelphous, anther, diathecus. Gynoecium, ovary superior, monocarpellary, unilocular, with many ovules, style single. Fruit, legume, seed, one to many, non-endospermic. Floral formula. Economic importance. Many plants belonging to the family are source of pulses: gram, arhar, same, moong, soybean, edible oil, soybean, groundnut, dye, indigofera, fiber, sun hemp, fodder, sesbania trifolium, ornamental, lupine, sweet pea, medicine, mulethi. 5.9.2 Solanaceae. It is a large family commonly called as potato family. It is widely distributed in tropics, subtropics and even temperate zone. Figure 5.22. Vegetative characters. Plants mostly herbs, shrubs and rarely small trees. Stem herbaceous, rarely woody. Aerial, erect, cylindrical, branched and solid. Or hollow, hairy or glabrous underground stem in potato Solanum tuberosum. Leaves alternate, simple, rarely pinnate compound X stipulate venation reticulate. Floral characters: inflorescence solitary, axillary or cymose as in Solanum. Flower bisexual actinomorphic. Calyx sepals 5 united persistent valvate estivation. Corolla petal 5 united valvate estivation. Androecium stamen 5 epipetalous. Gynoecium bicarpellary obligately placed Gynoecium bicarpellary obliquely placed. Syncarpus ovary superior bilocular placenta swollen with many ovule exile. Fruit, berry or capsule. Seed, many endospermous. Floral formula. Economic importance: many plants belonging to this family are source of food: tomato, brinjal, potato. Spices: chili. Medicine: belladonna, ashwagandha. Fumigatory: tobacco. Ornamental: petunia. 5.9.3 Liliaceae, commonly called the lily family, is the characteristic representative of monocotyledonous plant. It is distributed worldwide. Figure 5.23. Vegetative character: perennial herb with underground bulbs, corms, rhizomes. Leaves mostly basal, alternate, linear, exstipulate with parallel venation. Floral characters: inflorescence solitary, cymose, often umbellate clusters. Flower bisexual, actinomorphic. Perianth tepals 6, 3 plus 3, often united into tube, valvate estivation. Androecium stamen 6, 3 plus 3, epitepalous. Gynoecium tricarpellary, syncarpus ovary superior trilocular with many ovule exile placentation. Fruit capsule, rarely berry. Seed endospermous. Floral formula. Economic importance: many plants belonging to this family are good ornamentals. Tulip gloriosa. Source of medicine: aloe. Vegetables: asparagus and colchicine, Colchicum autumnale.